So Ellie, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
I'm fine now. Yes.
You're fine now?
After completing my album, Best of British. I got a bit ill afterwards, but that's all over with now. I'm nicely recuperated, and I'll start touring again in December.
So the album, Great British Songs.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Released 2 days ago here in England. No, 1 day ago. We're expecting great things from it. Everyone that's heard it loves it. All the fans are going crackers for it. It's a collection of iconic 60s songs by iconic 60s bands like the Kinks and the Beatles and the Stones and the Who, Hollies. But I've done all these iconic songs with Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare from Jamaica, the best drum and bass that there is in the world. So I've done like reggae and ragga versions of these classics, and going down the store.
Nice. So you've reggafied them. I've heard you
Reggae
saying that word before, yeah?
Yeah,
is that the new
that
word?
is the new word for everybody to put in the dictionary this year. Reggae-fi.
I'm sure it'll be there.
Yeah.
So how do you choose the songs? How was that process?
Well, these quite easily, really, because what I didn't want to do was do songs that I knew very well. Apart from Hard Day's Night and Painted Black, which is Beatles and Stones. I mean, I grew up on them like anybody my age.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do songs that I didn't know, but that were iconic. You see, when I grew up, I grew up listening to reggae, and that was my music, you know. So in the 70s, I missed out on all the other stuff that was going down. You know what I mean? Because that wasn't my bag, you know.
Mm.
So the challenge was to find these iconic songs, massive ones like Baker Street, you know, that's one of the top 10 most listened to songs ever, you know, on American radio. Not a song that I would have listened to particularly, you know. Songs like that, Squeeze Box by The Who, you know, you couldn't get more, you know, far away from where I was coming from, you know, with that All Right Now by Free, you know.
It's very different.
Yeah, it's like a million miles from reggae and from what I do and from what Sly and Robbie do. So that was the challenge, and that was the fun, you know, of making them into tracks that I really like and I can dig, you know.
Because Sly and Robbie worked with, I know they worked with No Doubt. They did that fantastic album, which
Sly and Robbie
really
have worked with most people, you know, in the business, and you know they're the most prolific recording artists ever, you know, in the world ever.
So what was it like? What was the experience of working with them?
Oh, they're my friends, you know. When UB40 started, we were all self-taught, you know, back in the day. We learned by listening to Sly and Robbie records and copying and parrot-fashion, you know. That's how we learned to play our instruments. So Sly and Robbie were always a massive influence on UB40 and on me, you know, and on reggae. So to be working with them, you know, my heroes, you know, and to be friends with them is a beautiful thing for me. But I've been working with them for about 20 odd years, you know. I've done enough things with Sly and Robbie because I love them, you know, and they're so fast.
Yeah.
And when I got the backing to do this album idea, you know, the Great British Song idea, the first thing I thought of was, I know how to make this happen quickly, you know, I'll go to Jamaica and I'll do it with Sly and Robbie. So I went there for 6 days and came back with 12 backing tracks, and there you go.
So were there any songs that didn't quite make the cut? Is there anything that you couldn't reggae?
There were 2 songs that were on my list that didn't make it. One was Come Up and See Me, Make Me Smile by Company Rebel. Yeah. Couldn't reggae that. And another one was Something in the Air by Captain Beefheart, is it? Yeah. Couldn't reggae that either. And I think it's because you need, to reggae something, I think you need a melody to sort of to cling on to, you know.
Yeah.
And if a song hasn't got a very strong melody and it's more about the production, you know, and the arrangement, which those two were, I think.
So do you like the challenge as well? Obviously, if you're not choosing songs that are obvious picks for you,
well,
is it also
it wasn't the challenge I thought it would be, you know, because we just did it, you know, like that. It was easy. you know, and they all reggae beautifully.
It's such a natural.
Well, reggae's like that, you know. It's if you understand reggae, you know, and if you've grown up on it like I have, then you know I think you could make a reggae version of almost anything. You know, a good reggae version of it.
So these songs are all taken from the 60s.
The 60s and 70s, these songs.
So, thinking about the music industry today, would you say there's anything out there that sort of, you know, in the future could contend for being a great British song in your eyes?
I think that the 60s was a very special time for pop music.
Yeah.
Because of the Beatles. You know, the Stones wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the Beatles. It was the Beatles really that, you know, did everything in the 60s. The 70s was a big disappointment musically, for pop music, you know. But of course for me it wasn't, because I had the Jackson 5 and I had reggae music, you know, came around in about 1970 with African Herbsman, the Wailers album that was done with Lee Perry, and that's when Carlton Barrett and Aston Barrett, the Barrett brothers, really invented what we know as reggae today.
Yeah. So, are you planning on taking the music out on tour at all? Are you going to promote the record?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to, yeah.
So any plans being penciled in? Any dates?
There's tons of dates coming up. Me and the Debt Band will be all over the world next year. The beauty of this album, the Great British Songs, is that you could dump us anywhere and anybody in the audience would know the songs already, you know, so it's a perfect new album to be doing for people because they know the songs already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there a favourite of yours on the record? What's the one that you're gonna?
Hard Day's Night would be my favourite. It's an experimental track. It's techno reggae, and I think it really works. Painted Black's pretty cool as well. I like the whole album, and I'm chuffed with the way it came out.
Yeah. So these are all people who have inspired you, you know, growing up.
No, I wouldn't say they're people that inspired me at all. You know, I didn't listen to this sort of music, you know, when I grew up. I listened to reggae and soul.
Yeah. So it's just songs that sort of stand out.
I was looking for iconic songs that I knew everybody else liked.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to put them into a reggae.
Putting a bit of your flavour onto it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the song Carrie Ann. How did?
Well, that's a Hollies track, you know, and when you hark back to the 60s, everyone says the Beatles, of course, and then you know, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks. The Hollies don't really get enough of a mention, I don't think, you know, and that's why I've done two Hollies tracks. I've done Here Heavy.
Fantastic track.
Yeah, well, I thought that was funny as well, you know, given that's gone down and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, with me and my brothers. Thought that was quite amusing. And Hey Carrie Ann, which has, you know, become the lead track off the album because the radio people like it. So
has any of the acts, I mean, you know, majority of the people that you're covering on this record, you know, they're still alive and well. Yeah. Has any of them given their stamp of approval?
We've sent copies of everything to all the relevant artists, and Ray Davies has been back in touch with us.
Cool.
With a glowing review, saying he loves my version of You Really Got Me Now, you know, which makes my day.
Very good. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
So over I mean, you've had quite a lengthy career, you know, with U40 and your solo career. It's, you know, it's all very critically acclaimed, and you've had such an amount of success all over the world. How different is it now compared to when you started in the music industry?
How different is the music industry?
Yeah, how different is the process, world. The recording, the touring? Yeah.
It's a different world now, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when we started, it was editing things on 2-track tapes with razor blades, you know. It's going through that whole computer thing now. You know, music, actually making music is so different.
Yeah.
And the music business doesn't exist, you know, like it did 3 years ago, let alone, you know, 28 years ago.
Yeah.
But it changes, like everything changes, you know, and it's cyclical. And with music, if you go back through popular music, you know, from music hall and vaudeville and, you know, something kills something off every 10 years, you know, like video killed the radio star,
Yeah.
you know, internet's killed the CD star at the moment, and
Sort of
we're all,
evolves.
yeah, and you have to adapt, you know, you shouldn't be running away from it, you have to adapt to what's going down, and, you know, find whatever the new format's going to be, you know, or just, you know, you have to roll with it.
Yeah. So are you still enjoying it as much as you did back then?
I'm enjoying it more because I'm in more control of what's going down, you know. I'm not having to compromise musically.
Which must be quite
like I
empowering.
did with you before, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it was a compromise that worked for you before too, but it was still a compromise, and now I'm doing what I want to do. And,
So
and it's-
solo, you've got more control.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
the best stuff I've ever done. It's the best, certainly the best productions I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this album, I mean, I've always been a UB40 fan, I've always been an Ali Campbell fan, but this album, it's got a freshness about it, you know, adding a freshness to such
Well,
iconic
yeah, this
tracks.
album's got, you know, Sly and Robbie on it for a start, you know, and for a finish.
It's a winning formula.
Yeah, man.
So what's next for Ali Campbell?
I'll be doing my 4th solo album, which is called Rhythm Method,
Cool.
and that'll be out sometime next year, I guess.
We look forward
But
to it.
I'll be doing that with the Deck Band players.
Okay.
And more original stuff.
And you can promise that we're going to see you on the road.
You will definitely see me on the road, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Hopefully all over the world next year.